Do you remember the pandemic and how in 2020 we were all stuck at home doing nothing? I think this is one of those times where everything was at an extreme. For most people, you were either having a really fun time or you were experiencing or witnessing job security be snatched from right under yours or your parents' feet. But depression aside, people were home watching video after video of their favorite YouTubers at the time. Because aside from remote work or school, or if you were considered an essential worker, there wasn't really shit to do. But if we're going to talk about the 2020s going into 2021, there's no way we can do that without talking about Among Us. Inner Sloth, the developers of Among Us, started out as a 3-person team that would release a game that would change their lives forever. See, these developers also created Henry Stickmin, and these games were the pinnacle of my childhood. Before gaming became a bunch of competitive slop and saturated with people trying to be professional gamers, it was as simple as you logged into a website like y8.com and then just picked the game from there and played. And obviously I could make a whole nother video on this game as a whole because of how amazing it was, but I bring that up to say that this team had a real passion and care for what they were doing. And in Inner Sloth's case, I'm sure when you're jumping from a passion project to maybe trying your hand at a multiplayer game and it ends up going nowhere for 3 years, you're probably going to be a little bit demoralized. But it's funny because when preparation meets opportunity, you have a dead game that just so happens to go viral and changes the sum of 3 people's lives forever. And it only took a pandemic for this to happen. When everyone is stuck at home, Fortnite, Call of Duty, 2K, all these things eventually get boring. It's not like you're getting off of work and getting off of school and doing these things now. You always have access to them. So after a while, you're playing all these games and then you kind of forget that the point of playing a video game in the first place is to, most importantly, have fun. So maybe you start shopping around and looking for some party games and then you hear about this game called Among Us, which is kind of like a murder mystery style game where there's a few different imposters in the game and the objective is to get the imposters out. And if you're an imposter, then the objective is to kill everybody else. Really simple in design, but the way it ran was so genius because while you're a crewmate, you might run around and do some tasks and maybe start building up an alibi or start doing your own little investigation, hoping that you don't die in the process. And then when you're at a meeting is when you finally get the chance to speak your piece. There's nothing quite like hopping in a Discord server or a voice chat while playing this game and trying to defend yourself out of a situation when you're the imposter. Or maybe be on your dang and rope shit and hit it. No, that's wrong. When you hear someone lying out of their ass. We've all made notable memories and moments on this game, and for a simple concept, again, it works really well. Crazy kills, vent moments, gaslighting moments. This is one of those party games that you'll always be able to go back to even after a long hiatus. And I think it has the same kind of staying power long term as a Minecraft and as a Fortnite. I know that's probably a crazy controversial take, but I said what I said. To an extent, games like Fortnite and Minecraft do need constant updates to keep them engaging. Well, Minecraft I think less so than Fortnite, but you get my point. But Among Us is a game and format that's already established and we already know how it works every single time we play the game, but you never know exactly how each game is going to play out because they all typically play out a little differently. Kind of similar to chess or like even checkers to an extent. It's the same board, it's the same pieces, not much changes in that regard, but people love them because you never know how things are going to play out. Like it's so unpredictable. You can have a really smart player make a really dumb mistake and still get away with it, or you can have a really new player accuse a smart player of doing something and then they just get voted out and they win that way. Like you never know what to expect in this game. I've noticed that in the last few months there's been a bit of resurgence in Among Us content, but it's no longer as many streamers or groups of people playing on a lobby over Discord. Back in the early days, we were seeing these big content creators doing their thing on stream and obviously clipping up those moments and putting them on YouTube, and that's what we enjoyed the most. But nowadays when I'm seeing Among Us content pop up in my For You page, now it's more solo lobby based stuff. It's people playing a game and trying to get some sort of master class or crazy clip of them killing a whole lobby. And although there's a lot of memes and things that are probably only funny to younger kids, I as a grown-ass man don't mind the content at all here and there. And I think the random lobbies are sometimes even more entertaining because you don't know who you're gonna get on your team. You could get a bunch of brain-rotted 6-year-olds, or you can get somebody with a brain that thinks like you. When it's people that you know after a while, it kind of gets repetitive in the sense that you can start picking up on how everyone plays, how they lie, how they do things. And yeah, I love hopping on with my friends here and there and trying some stuff out and seeing what we can get done like on a random Saturday. But there's nothing like a solo lobby here and there. I'm happy for Inner Sloth, man. Several years after their Flash game era, they were able to make a game that was a huge commercial success around such a simple concept that probably did not cost that much money to make initially and probably still doesn't cost a whole lot to upkeep and run. Because the unfortunate thing is not every passion project is a commercial success, but this one was. And the cool thing about this game is it has has international appeal. That's when you know you've made it to a different level of success. Think about how many things, artists, restaurants, and shit, even video games that might be respected in their community or city, but never make it to mainstream. Now imagine when that thing has Michael Jackson levels of appeal. Okay, that take is crazy, but you get what I'm saying about Among Us. Think about it from this point of view. You're one of 3 members who started working on this game in a small office space or maybe your friend's living room. And with low upfront costs and a whole lot of care for the thing you're working on, 3 years later you've accumulated generational wealth that you can thrive on for the rest of your mortal life. Now imagine now how many of us are just a few fingernails away from turning our passion into something at least partially livable. The reality is you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. None of us do. A crisis for everyone else can be a time of glory and abundance for you. But key word here is can. That thing that you've been putting off for a long time that you used to really love, do me a favor today and pick that thing up again, because you never really know where something might lead you. And it might not be a few days, it might not be a few weeks, it might not be a few months or even years, but if it's something you really love, do it anyway. Because if it's something you can do for free, then imagine what it'd be like if you were making money off of it. But anyways, that's all I got. What are some of your favorite Among Us moments? Whether it's something that's happened to you, a friend, or something you saw on a stream or some YouTuber's video, let me know in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content from this channel, ApplePsyche, make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Deuces.